So this is the circuit we're going to build, strobe light, plus at different speeds. Simple enough. So before we do that, let's just talk about our kits a little bit. I'm going to take apart this circuit and rebuild it with everyone. So I'm assuming you guys all have this together by this point. So the two components are the breadboard and the breadboard. The breadboard is our computer, and the breadboard is a wireless soldering kit. So basically, you can connect wires without having to heat anything up. And that's pretty much the gist of what you need to know. Basically, tensiometer, it's a variable resistor, also called turn pot. You can turn it all the way in different directions, and it's going to give you higher or lower resistance. Wires, self-explanatory. LED, self-explanatory. Here's what a resistor is. These are 330 ohms, I think, what we're going to be using tonight. So if you guys want to get out, it's the one with an orange, two orange stripes, and then a brown stripe. All right. So the next thing we want to do is open up our booklets. And this is going to be easy. It's going to be basically like building Legos. So open up the booklet, flip open to lesson 1B. We're pretty advanced, so we're going to skip 1A. And all right, so page 20. And then, yeah, using page 21, what we're going to start off doing is just build exactly that. So, I mean, I think it's easier if we just follow the picture, and I'll turn my sound off so you don't hear me doing it. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. But I don't think I need to tell you which wires to put in this one. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, I'll give everyone 5 minutes or so to do that, and then we'll meet back up.
And just a detail on the breadboard in case people haven't used this before. The rows are kind of all linked up. So on those kind of rows of 5, it doesn't really matter which one you put it in. That's kind of why you can see it's, as in the diagram, it's kind of connected. And then also the plus and minus column going down, all of those are connected. So just kind of, if you see like the yellow going into the top right part of the breadboard, basically anywhere on that row, if you put it in a different spot, it would be the same thing.
So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to unmic yourself or send it in the chat and I'll address it.
I don't have mine. Sorry.
No worries. We can just do this later.
What are we doing now?
All right, so if you just showed up, we are building circuit 1B out of the booklet. We're just following the diagram. I just explained some of the parts, and we're just going to put it together, and then we'll go to the code next.
Yeah, and if you don't have yours now, Matt, you're recording this, right? Yeah, if you don't have it now, it doesn't really, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, you probably don't have to stay here if you can't do anything, but he'll post that up, and then whenever people get it, they can catch up kind of on your own time, and then hopefully hopefully next week we'll all have our things and be ready to go.
Thank you. Hi, Sai.
What's up, guys?
One other thing I forgot to explain is if you look at your LEDs, there's 2 legs on it, and the shorter leg is the negative end. So you're gonna want to send that to ground. And for those of you that don't know ground, that is gonna be the black wire in the picture that eventually goes to G and D. All right, anyone still working? No worries if you are. No.
What was the Arduino, when you go to Arduino and then tools, and then board?
Yeah.
I used Arduino Uno.
Yep. That's the right board, I'm pretty sure. 1 second. I'm gonna share my screen and walk through that real quick. All right. Can you guys all see this?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
Sweet. All right. So once you have everything set up, what you're gonna want to do is plug the black USB cable into your computer and into the red board, into that little silver one, not the black one. And look something like this. And you're gonna go. Mine set to Arduino Uno. I think it's supposed to be. It's on the kit. Arduino will work for this, but I think officially it's supposed to be Genuino / something. Yeah, Arduino / Genuino Uno. So yeah, Uno will work. And then you wanted, this part's a little tricky. It's different on every computer, but you're gonna want to go to this port. You're gonna want to use. You see, I don't actually know which one it is, but it depends where you plug the cable into your computer. So I usually do some trial and error, and for me, it's COM8.
And on Macs, it normally says it says like USB serial often, and then like a list of numbers for port is the correct one.
All right, so let's get this code going. So for tonight, since we're keeping it easy, we're just gonna take some example code. So we going into file, open, and now it depends where you guys saved your stuff, but for me, Arduino sick guide Codemaster. Open that up and open up the potentiometer code. It's gonna look something like this. And so now we have this code right now, and it details what everything does, but I'm gonna go through it again. So in Arduino, there's two sections of the code. There's this void setup and there's this void loop. So every time you run the code, it goes through and it does all of this stuff, which this doesn't do anything since it's gray, it's just part of the code. This is the first thing that we do, and then it's gonna go to void setup. And it goes to void setup once, and then it goes into void loop. And once it reaches void loop, it keeps doing that over and over again, unless you tell it to stop, which you don't really want to do in our application tonight. So all the comments here, if there's two slashes in front of anything, it means it doesn't do anything. It's commented out. So basically what we use these slashes for is to explain what's going on in it. So the first thing we do is we make a new variable. And before it is int, which means it's going to be an integer or a whole number, and it's pop position. And this is going to be the position that the potentiometer is, so how far that knob is turned. And then once that's done, we're going to enter our setup section. And so the first code that you always see in the setup section is serial begin, basically tells the board to start. And then in our code, we have this pin 13 output. So when you plug the wire into pin 13 from the picture, that wire has no power going to it until you turn it on. So that's what this is doing. This is just saying, turn the 13th pin and make it output. And then, but that doesn't actually turn it on or not, that just says it can be turned on. So we're gonna do that in the loop section. So now we're at the loop. So the first thing we want to do is have some code that reads the position of the potentiometer. And so this line right here, analog read means it has a variable system. So there's two types of signals, and it's either going to be analog or digital. You guys might have heard of that before. So digital, it's easy, it's on or off. But instead of using simple words, we have some job security and we use high and low. So when you see this right here and this is on or off. But we don't want that, we want analog, which means you get a number. And so here it's going to say the pop position, which is the variable we created that doesn't have anything in it right now, and it's going to store in it analog read. So now if you look at your board and you look for pin AO, you should have a blue wire, I think it is, plugged into there, but I might have not followed the colors. But pin AO, it goes to the middle of the potentiometer. And that's going to be reading the voltage on the potentiometer. And so analog read gets the number, the variable number. I forget the range that it's between, but it reads it. And so from there, we're going to serial.println. So I'll explain what this does after we do all this. So the next thing that we're doing is digital write 13 high. So what this does is it takes pin 13 and it tells it to output on. And that's all it does. And so it's going to keep saying on. And then after that comes this delay pop position. So delay is a command that tells the computer to wait. So once it turns this on, it's going to wait the amount of time depending on what this variable pop position is, which we define to be what the voltage is in the potentiometer. So basically how turned your potentiometer is, it's going to wait that long. And then when that's done, it's going to go to pin 13 and it's going to turn it off. And then what it does, it delays again, and then it goes all the way through the code, and it just keeps looping through. So that's why it's a strobe light, because it just keeps looping. And so if you guys want to try uploading this, Arduino is weird when you upload the first couple times, so yeah, you might have a little trouble with the ports and stuff. But when it works, you should have something that looks like this. So I'll give you guys a bit to try that out, and then you can ask any questions you have. And then we'll explain some more stuff.
Do you know if there's a way to refresh the COM ports?
Unplugging and plugging back in is sometimes your best, but that's about all I got.
Alright.
Anyone having trouble uploading? No? Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem. Is it giving you an error?
Yeah.
Have you, and you've tried all the COM ports?
It only shows like a Wi-Fi COM port, which is
And dumb question, but your black wire is plugged in?
yeah. It even shows the power on the Arduino board. Like the green light's on, the blue light's on, and it's flashing the red light, the red LED that's plugged in.
You might want to try turning off Arduino and turning it back on, but yeah. All right, what's going on now? Is it still giving that error?
Yeah. You can just go ahead. I can figure this out another time. It's not a problem.
All right, after this, I can stay after for a couple of minutes and I'll get you to share your screen and we'll go through it. So in the meantime, we'll see this flashing and we're gonna go to this new feature called Serial Monitor, and you can click the button to show it. So while this is running, this is your serial monitor. If you've coded before, this is basically what is being printed when you code in Python or Java or something like that. So the only thing that we're telling it to print is right here. So every time it goes through the loop, it's going to print the pop position, which is, again, the variable that we created in the beginning that's getting stored every time right here as the analog read at pin AO. So when I turn the pop position and the light blinks different, this is off. Turn it a little more, turn it a little more. We can see the full range of these pop positions.
Are others seeing that screen? Mine's like frozen for some reason.
I think mine is too.
Yeah, Matt. I could only see a blank Arduino sheet.
Sick.
Sorry, I just noticed that.
Nah, have you guys like not seen it this whole time?
No, we saw it at one point, the code, but then
Awesome.
it went to it did go. It's like one of the generic new sketches.
Let me try this. Oh wait, I know what it is. Okay, give me a sec. New shares. There we go. How about that?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Anyway, so the COM port, I'll open it back up. It's right here.
Top right corner.
And so every time it goes through, it prints this, and you'll notice that the numbers pop up faster when they're lower, and that's just because that loop is going through faster. So when it's real low, the numbers are flying because it doesn't take long to execute the loop. But when I crank it up slower, they appear slower. And I think that's about it for the material. Does anyone want me to go over anything? No? Awesome. Well, I think we can do something a little more tough. Oh, the batteries. So now once you've uploaded this to your board is going to save this code in it. And if you fill up your battery pack and you plug it in, you now have a portable strobe light. Go rage on. So yeah, it doesn't come with batteries because yeah, Sparkfun's cheap. But if no one has anything else, then I'll see you guys next week. And for those of you guys watching later, happy building.
Thank you.
No problem. If you do want to stay on, I can try to figure out the COM ports, but it's up to you.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to give you access to the screen share right now, but I don't really.
I'm just on a blank screen right now. So.
All right. I'm making you a co-host. I think that'll work.
Yeah, it should work.
And then yeah, just share your screen. I'll see what it looks like.
Yeah, so I have it